Okay, all, since we're going into an online version of the classroom, I'm going to go through the corrections of your papers. I've hidden the names of some of the papers just to give an example. I'm going to go through this question by question. So the first question, the cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad republished in 2006 caused riots and mass unrest. I didn't ask you about the morality or the ethics of the publication. My question was very simple. Question A. Use 3 ethical theories to justify why publication is necessary. So I'm going through your questions, and here we go. To start with, there is absolutely no sole arbitrator of what is ethical, and even if there was, etc., etc. Nonsense. Why are you writing this? What is the point of saying this? The other thing is, I'm going to jump to another question here, but just to point it out for you, let's take you cannot speak in slang. This is proper English. Capitalize, use punctuation, use everything correctly. Again, absolutely pointless. In terms of religious practices and the depictions and subjectivity and images, and who cares? This wasn't the question. I didn't ask about religious imagery. I didn't ask about depiction. I didn't ask about what you see or what the religion thinks. I said publication is necessary. Now give me 3 ethical theories to prove that it's necessary. Please, for God's sake, I don't mind spelling mistakes, but a niche is a type category of something. It is not Nietzsche's name. So you should at least know the general philosophy and the general name of the person. Can't misspell it that badly. That just means you haven't read anything. It is imperatively controversial to weigh the decision of judgment against that of moral reasoning. One of the most, again, this is all just nonsense. You're filling space. I tried to explain this to you guys many times before. I need an answer to the question. I don't need rhetoric. I don't need wasted time. Okay, moving on. I said this 100 times in class. Non-consequential theory. There is no such thing as a non-consequential theory. That is a category of theories with a lot of theories inside it that conflict with each other. Okay, so I've got 3 here that decided to do the same thing. Hedonism. I didn't teach you hedonism, so obviously if you're answering hedonism means 1, you never paid attention in class, 2, you never did the readings before class. I cannot help you if you don't do the readings and you don't pay attention to the lectures. Hedonism is not the philosophy of what feels good. Hedonism is a pure pleasure principle. It means you only do everything that creates absolute personal, subjective pleasure. It is not something we can derive laws from or ethics from. It is an absolute pleasure concept. So this is more to do with sexuality, with drugs, with having an amazing time in life without giving a damn about anyone else or anything else. So back to your little exam. So what is the answer to it? It's very easy. 3 ethical theories that prove why publication is necessary. We could use the categorical imperative by Kant and say that because we allow publication of one thing, then we should allow the publication of everything. The universalization of laws, which means if we can publish any cartoon about any religion, then we should publish all of them, regardless of the religion's sensitivities. Another argument would be the utilitarian. The fact that it would lead to the greatest good for society, to actually liberate society and be able to speak objectively. This doesn't cause harm to others. You're not attacking a religion, you're simply speaking. You can use any of the other theories, including that of religion. Because all monotheistic religions allow for freedom of thought, allow for freedom of expression, and do not include forced religious beliefs. Okay, what are the ethical pros and cons? So that's really quickly, that was 3 quick answers to the question. What are the pros and cons on publication about censoring? Okay, so pros and cons are very easy. Cons is very simple. It's what happened, which is riots. People might get bothered by this. People might get annoyed by this. The pros, we could speak about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, ability to Desensitize the subject by allowing others to have a discussion about it, not just simply to be attacked on it. Okay, question 2. In case of Marwan Habib, the alleged sexual predator was brought to court by periphery monstration. Should we allow this to happen? Use ethical theories to justify your point. Nearly everyone said the same thing. We should allow this to happen. I would tend to agree with you. Yes, we should allow this to happen. We can use ethical theories to prove this, which is to say anybody accused or suspect of this should be brought up. And if the court isn't paying attention, then we should use social media and periphery monstration as a way to get things for the court to accept it. But here's the trick. The trick lies in part B. What if after the case goes to court, the person is proven innocent? Now, I know some of you have taken this personally or think that this might be insensitive to ask, but that's the whole point. The point of ethics is to ask the question that is difficult to answer. If it was easy to answer, if it was a case that you didn't care about, like for instance Roman Polanski, or someone not in your own neighborhood, not relating to you, then it wouldn't really matter. It wouldn't be a difficult decision. This is a difficult decision because it's something to do with your community. My question is, I'm not speaking about him particularly, but any predator accused of any crime on social media, if they're found innocent, can we do anything to bring justice? So some of the more intelligent answers were along the lines of everybody who basically published against him or published stories against him should be brought to justice. They should be brought to court. They should be sued. There should be a way to financially remunerate, financially support him. But that doesn't really bring him justice. The end fact is, we've just ruined this person's life. Whether they're innocent or guilty, but the mob has already taken a decision. Regretfully, I would say, that risk is something we have to take at times. Because otherwise we run the risk of no one ever speaking up. So we have to allow people to speak up. But you need to be very careful when you repost stories, when you support claims, you need to make sure that you're supporting a valid claim, because you could really damage someone's life in an irreparable way. I'm not speaking about this. There were several cases, for instance, Johnny Depp's case, where his girlfriend accused him and then turned out to be the one who's actually guilty and not him. It ruined his career for a considerable amount of time. You could ruin people's lives by republishing stories on social media. And the truth is, there is absolutely no way to repair that. I do believe it is a risk we need to take. I do believe social media should be used for these things. But I ask you to think very carefully about periphery monstration. Think very carefully when you're reposting stuff to make sure that you verify the information you're posting, not just post because you saw it. Not just post because you think posting makes the world a better place. A lot of times this kind of posting can actually cause a lot more damage than good. The exam was very easy to answer. Average was not too bad. So I'm going to give you the conversion rates really quickly. Basically, here are your grades. If you got an 8, it's a 53, a 9 is 60, 10 is a 66, 11 is a 73, 12 is an 80, 13 is an 86, 14 is a 93, 15 is a 100. And welcome to the lessons online.